Good afternoon, YouTube. Been a while. Finally moved. A little change of scenery. Finally no more boxes piled up around me. I'm doing one on predestination because, quite frankly, this is something that is so often looked past, and yet, because it is mentioned so many times in the Bible, it is something that every Christian really ought to be a Calvinist, is another word for it, though that's technically a misnomer. What predestination is, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to let conservapedia.com, that's a very conservative Christian website, tell you what predestination is so you can hear it out of their own mouths. Predestination, also known as election, is a theological doctrine that holds that God chooses those to whom He will give saving faith. Now, what's interesting about this is that this is so in your face, against free will, that it's very humorous that you will hear these same Christians argue that the reason He did all these different things was to give us free will. When quite obviously, in fact, I will be posting several of the links for the verses that talk about predestination. One of them, off the top of my head, I apologize, I don't have my notes with me, I lost them in the move. There's a whole argument that's made about does the potter feel guilt, or is he to be blamed for when he smashes his clay pots? This is the defense for what is obviously hit some of you, in that when God chooses through predestination who's going to go to heaven, consequently He is choosing who is going to go to hell, a place of eternal torment. Now obviously this screams of huge problems on several fronts, not the least of which is, why am I going to be tortured for all of eternity just because He chose not to save me? I have an extreme problem with that, and I have an extreme problem with any religious person who actually holds that kind of view. What you're saying is that it's completely okay for your God to make all of these people with souls who have absolutely no choice, none, zero choice in whether they believe or not believe in your God, and consequently go to heaven or hell. God has preordained, pre-chosen, predestined who is going where. Now, I have no other way to say it. That is royally fucked up in so many ways that you are a fucking despicable piece of shit if you actually worship that God, and you're fucking retarded if you actually think that that God exists. And you're even 10 times more fucking stupid if you think that that God is a loving God. Predestination eliminates so much of what you guys boast as a religion that separates you because you're better and have purpose and have a plan, God's plan for your life. If you believe in predestination, there is absolutely no chance that you're going to save my soul by converting me to Christianity. Zero. It's impossible. Predestination precludes any possibility of anything going different than what your God has already chosen. So all your bullshit about witnessing and saving souls, irrelevant. All your bullshit about people needing to change their minds and see the error of their ways and hopefully they'll change their decisions before they die so they won't be sent to hell on Judgment Day, it's fucking irrelevant. Predestination means that nothing you do matters and nothing I do matters. Now here's the worst part. You actually include nihilism in part of your religion when you include predestination. Because if you believe that nothing you do matters and nothing I do matters, then nihilism, there you go. That is the exact definition. Nothing you do matters. So I'll throw this in a little bit. Nihilism is atheism. I hear that all the time from Christians. It's really funny. Because, well, if we're just a compound of chemicals and cells and whatnot, then nothing really matters. I will actually make a separate video about this because this goes far deeper into another topic. But just on the tip, you having predestination. Oh, by the way, if you deny predestination, then you deny the words of the Bible. It is very clear. Like I said, I'll post the links. You can read them for yourself. It is very clear that God chooses. So if you're a Christian, you believe that God chose you to be a Christian, and you can do nothing to get out of being a Christian, or you're not really a Christian, and you're just pretending, as some like to say, and later on you're going to turn into an atheist, and guess what? There's nothing you can do about that either. Because if you believe in predestination, then nothing you do fucking matters. That's really all I got to say. Because it is absolutely retarded that anybody believes in predestination and still applies free will and loving to this. Because really, I mean, what kind of sick asshole is going to create something with, you know, pain, suffering, feeling, like, I'm going to create you so that you can suffer. That's fucked up, dude. I mean, there is no possible defense for that. That is extremely a shitty thing to do. And the only kind of person who can actually make excuses for that is somebody who has already decided that they're going to defend such a person regardless of what they would say about anybody else. Because I guarantee, if I gave you the same exact set of rules for a human that you guys apply to your God, without trying to make the obvious analogy, you guys would go, dude, that motherfucker needs to be killed, or that motherfucker needs to be put in jail for life. That dude needs to seek some like serious fucking mental health patient, some psychiatrist, and get his fucking head tweaked, because that is one sick, twisted, maniacal fuck. But then you go, oh, it's Yahweh? Oh, well, he can do that, that's okay, because, well, he's fucking God. You completely dismiss all of your natural and good, I will say, moral apprehensions about that kind of behavior. You completely dismiss it because you have a bias. You are predisposed to defending something that you know is morally reprehensible. Hence the birth of apologetics. And if you want to see me rip on apologetics, go see my Biblical Immorality number 5 video. It has all to do with apologetics. Because apologetics is acknowledging the fact that the Bible is royally fucked up and trying to defend it. That's what apologetics is. And that's the God that you defend. That's the God that you worship. That's the God that you claim to love and claim is all loving. Well, that's all I got to say to you about that. Because fuck you if that's all you can actually say about that. If you're willing to dismiss all of your natural instincts, all of your moral conditioning for what is right and good and true and acceptable for this one individual being, you're a worthless piece of shit, and I got no problem saying that. So, there's predestination. You're a fucking idiot if you believe in predestination. And if you're a Christian, you ought to believe in predestination. So if you're a Christian, you're a fucking idiot. Peace.